Hey, how are you today? I am doing a video. This is day 8 of my 31-day Go Live challenge, and I thought now that we've launched the Freedom Test, and you may have already taken the Freedom Test, I wanted to run you through how to actually use the Freedom Map. So if you haven't met me before, my name's Jody. I'm the leader of the Freedom Fest movement, and the reason this is so important to me is because about 15 years ago, I had a bit of a life-changing moment, and I've spent the best part of my life doing what I love, working in my own business, making great money, traveling the world, and truly feeling free. And what I love about that is that's really how I was raised to live. My nana and my papa were very entrepreneurial. They had a goal to retire by the time they were 40, be financially free. They both did that. And then when Nana turned 40 and Papa was 42, I was born because my mum and dad were very young when they had me. They were only 18 and 19. So I spent a lot of time at Nana and Papa's during the school holidays because mum and dad were working. And they were really great role models for me because they were living, in my mind, a wonderful life. They always had lots of time for family and friends. They travelled the world. They took on exciting projects. Papa studied things that he was interested in, like reflexology and natural health. They had properties, they invested in the share market, and they built businesses as well. And my papa always used to say to me, Jody, don't go to school and get good grades only to come out of there wasting your whole life helping someone else get rich. Learn how to build businesses early. Learn how to make money work for you so you don't spend your whole life working for it. And this was the kind of conditioning that I had growing up. So freedom has always been very high on my list of priorities and values. And so in 2006, I spent my life making my own businesses. My original business was making drums and percussion instruments. I sold them all over the world. We traveled the world. It was fantastic. And I was basically doing what I love to do as a hobby, but turning it into a business. And I'd say I think everyone has their genius zone or their sweet spot where they operate well. Mine is turning what I love to do or what you love to do into a profitable and viable business that's designed to give you the life that you want. So anyway, in 2006, I had this beautiful business. I was living the great life. I was in what I thought was a wonderful relationship. And then everything sort of fell apart. So for the first time in my life, I went and got a real job. I landed in the corporate world. I was very fortunate. I got a job that was fantastic as a leadership trainer and coach. But by about the 3rd year in, the grind of peak hour traffic and listening to people who were burning out and frustrated and exhausted and overwhelmed started to become just the norm. It was like, this is how people live. This has become my life. And I had a bit of a wake-up call in 2009, which was 3 years into working full-time, where I realized that I wanted to find my freedom again. And so if you've taken the Freedom Test, you would have got a score. And I want to say it doesn't matter what your score is where you start. If you follow the path and you use some of the resources that we've created for you, you can improve that and you can break free from any place. So I took the Freedom Test based on 2009 Jody. I got back to where I used to be and what I used to think and the things that I used to say to myself, and I answered all the questions in the Freedom Test. My score was 25, which is basically stop what you're doing and create some change. And now I'm at a place where I really do have a great sense of freedom in my life, and I'm so glad that I made the changes that I did. So I want to talk you through how to use this Freedom Map, and I just want to remind you that it doesn't matter where you feel you are stuck right now. Wherever you are, you can break out. The other thing that I think is really, really important to know, and this is just full transparency, there's no magic potion that's going to make this happen for you. And I think this is the big disappointment that I see where people fall down is people love to put a plan in place. They love to set a goal, but they often struggle to follow through. And so I really am passionate about this because I understand where people fall down. I've been there myself. And my life's work is dedicated to helping you create a life that you are wildly in love with and build a business that sets you free, whatever that looks like for you. And I want you to truly know, like in your deepest heart of hearts, that no matter where you feel stuck, that it is 100% possible. How do I know this? Because number one, I made it happen for me. But number two, I've worked with so many women now who have been through our programs, who have been through our goals clubs, who I've helped build their businesses with, and their lives have transformed. So if you stick at it and you do the work, you will get the results. If you chew on the ideas like they are bubblegum, then they'll just end up frustrating you and disappointing you. So action is the key, my friend. That's really important. Anyway, let's dig into the Freedom Map. So now that you've done the Freedom Test, you will have been sent a copy of this, and it's really just a guide that I've created for you to help you work through your results and create a bit of a plan to get you moving closer to your ultimate freedom, whatever that looks like for you. So the first thing I want you to know about the Freedom Test is it's broken into 5 key areas. 4 of them are like the pillars of freedom: your financial freedom, your mental freedom, your physical freedom, and your emotional freedom. And so each of those areas will be scored out of 15. So let's say in financial freedom, you got an 11. Your 11 is actually out of 15. So congratulations, you're pretty close to being at the high level. If you got a 6 out of mental freedom, your 6 is out of 15. And the same with physical, it's out of 15. And the same with your emotional. It's a score out of 15. Your general sense of freedom takes into account your responses to other questions outside of those parameters. And that is out of 40. So 40% of your score is based on your general sense of freedom, and then 60% of your score is based on those 4 pillars: financial, mental, physical, and emotional. So you write your scores in there and you count them all up, and it will give you your total score. So let's say your total score is 69. We go, okay, great, 69. Where does that put me? We move on to the next page, and there's basically 3 lights. I use the traffic light system because I think it's really simple and easy way to go. Am I red light, stop what I'm doing? I'm in a place of burnout, or whatever I'm doing right now is not getting me where I want to go. So if you scored a red light, I really do recommend that you actually stop and you give yourself a break from what you're currently doing. And you'll see there's some actions that I've put forward. One of the best things you can do if you really are in that red light, that's the ugliest bracket I've probably ever drawn, and I've drawn some ugly brackets. So let's do a nice one. Still not that nice. Let's not do one at all, shall we? Anyway, if you are in the red light, my friend, please do not worry. This is a great thing to just get this awareness and say, you know what? Stop. Take time out. Sit down, really reflect, and I've got some exercises that you can do later on in this map, and work out what it is that you want. I do recommend that this is a good time to phone a friend, hire an expert, or just get that support around you to help you get out of it. When I was in that space, I felt very alone, very unsupported, even though my mum and my Nana and my grandparents have always been amazing support and family, and I've got beautiful friends as well. But I was a single mum, I was working like a wild woman, and I was just existing to pay bills or party like a crazy woman on the weekends. And the best thing I did for myself was stop and create a goals club and start reconnecting with what I really wanted to do. I built a life plan, and that is the thing that can get you out of everything. So if you got between 50 and 79, you've got an amber light. This is where most people land, to be honest. This is kind of that space where you go, you know what? I'm bumping up against some glass ceilings. Maybe you've touched it. You've got some ideas. You know where you want to go, or you're on the merry-go-round where you're kind of just going in circles. But it's where most people land between 50 and 79. What I recommend here is just to slow down and say which parts of my life are working and which parts of my life are not. In this space, it's very easy to get into an unconscious way of living. We are just going through the motions, being a high performer, maybe getting some good results, but maybe we're not mastering the art of working smart, but instead we've got caught up in the pattern of working hard. So that's really what that space is about. Beware, slow down. You're kind of at a crossroads. You could keep going and go into burnout, or you could slow down and look at a different direction. Imagine sliding doors. Burnout's that way. Freedom is that way. Slow down, make your choices consciously. And then we have the green light, which is, you know what? Congrats. This is rare air, and 80 to 100 means that whatever you are doing is really working for you. And what I love about this space is you have the ability to be an incredible inspiration and role model to others, because a lot of people think that this is not even possible. So you're living in a great way and you're achieving some wonderful things. Congratulations. I really am happy for you. So then we move into the freedom map, and this is where we dig down and look at, right, what are some of the key things that really do contribute to your ultimate freedom? So you'll write your scores down here and you can plot them. But what I want you to know is that with your financial freedom, let's do financial freedom as green, just as that's the color it represents, there are 3 things that will make up your financial freedom score. It's your free time. Do you feel like you have no time for me, no time to do the things that you want, or are you constantly stuck slaving away, spending time doing the things you don't want? Your cash flow, is money flowing through? Is it easy to pay bills, or do you feel like you're in big debt and you're always chasing dollars? And your net worth. This is around your ability to build wealth, create assets, and ultimately get money working for you. So when we talk about your financial freedom, we want to get to a point where we actually have these 3 things working for us. When we come to your mental freedom, let's do this as blue, clear blue skies, think clearly. Essentially, it's about being calm, confident, and having clarity. And what I've noticed as a business coach is a lot of business owners sacrifice this, and even the others, in the pursuit of this. The freedom map is about finding balance with each. And you'll see you can plot your scores in here and you just colour in. Are you low, are you medium, or are you high? Physical freedom, let's make that one yellow. Physical freedom is really about your health and well-being. I've seen a lot of people, again, trade their physical freedom, their health, for the chase of the dollars. So in order to have strong scores and be physically free, you'll wake up feeling energized. Dr. Libby always says energy is the currency of health. When we have high energy, we are healthy. If we have low energy and feel exhausted, it's a warning bell to say something is not right. We can correct anything though, which is really beautiful. Mobility. Are you in aches and pains, or is it easy to move around? Can you still touch your toes? Can you sit on the floor without feeling like it's going to break your back? Can you cross your legs? All of those sorts of things. A lot of the time people physically destroy their body, maybe through overexertion or physically hard labor work, and they end up actually getting to a point where they can hardly move. Now, one of the biggest problems, I think, is we've come to a point in our society where we accept these things breaking down as part of the aging process. However, they don't need to be if you put your focus in the right areas, and you can actually age and become healthier and more energized and more physically mobile than you've ever been if you want to and you invest in doing the right things with your time and your energy. So there's the mobility, and then of course there's the overall sense of wellness. In physical freedom, we want to have are feeling like we're not sickly all the time. We don't get the flu every time it goes around. We don't constantly feel like we're suffering from headaches or chronic stomach aches or digestive issues or whatever it might be. And when we are feeling unwell a lot of the time, it's a warning to say that something in our system isn't working. And again, we can go down that path. I've certainly been down that path myself, to correct course and heal. One of the things that's the most amazing thing about our body is if we do the right things, we can truly heal ourselves from things that people don't even know are possible to heal from. So the physical area, and then finally we have your emotional freedom. And your emotional freedom looks at how loved you feel, how happy you are, and how much peace you have in your life. So really this becomes your roadmap to freedom. And it's a really nice model for you to be able to just look at each area and say, right, how am I tracking? What are the things that I want to focus on in order to increase my scores? It's a systematic approach to breaking free, my friends. All right, let's move through the plan. So there's just some information about the power of slowing down to speed up. I have seen this in practice. Interestingly enough, when I started to slow down and meditate daily and journal and get all the garbage out of my head, I actually got a pay rise and a promotion, and I became much more effective. So very, very powerful thing to remember. Just a bit more information about that. When you do slow down, there are 3 plans that I recommend that you create for yourself. Number 1, put a life plan in place. I am horrified by how many people go through life without a plan and then feel stuck or trapped or exhausted. And the sad thing is that that's very common for a lot of people. So the first step to breaking free is really building a life plan. If you are in a business or wanting to start a business, you absolutely need a marketing plan. Now, I do this a little bit unconventionally. When we work with women and the occasional man, when we help them build a business, it's all about positioning you as the leader in your industry. So your marketing plan is about finding your place in the market and competing on value, not price. You want to be a high value go-to expert rather than a low value jack of all trades. And so the businesses that we help people build typically are service or knowledge-based businesses. Become an expert, become a coach, become a consultant, become an educator or a content creator. You need a marketing plan. And then the third one is your strategic plan on a page. And I really want to say, when you build this, you must make sure that it is focused on the 80-20 rule. What does that mean? It means build it around low effort, high reward thinking. Make sure all of the activities are focused on what will give me the best bang for buck. What is my low effort, high reward activities that will get me to my goal? And that's a very powerful process to go through. If you 80-20 your entire life and business, that really is what will set you free. So those are the 3 plans you need. And what I've done is I've just mapped out a 5-step plan to get you started, how you can avoid burning out and break free in life and in business. So we've talked about the 3 plans. Hot tip here, very important. Don't be fooled by the simplistic nature of this. This is the stuff that people don't do. Do this stuff and you will get results that people don't get. You won't be stuck in that middle space that most people do, and you won't wind up in that red light where you go, shit, I'm fully burned out now. I'm in trouble. Okay, so what are they? Number 1 is the reality check. Really look at your scores. Be honest when you fill out the freedom test and say, okay, now that I'm here, what is one simple thing that I could change? You know, Alicia, our operations manager, did our freedom test and she got a score and then she shared it on LinkedIn. She shared a post and she just looked at each of the areas and thought, right, what is the one thing that I could do in each of these areas to increase my score? And it was really beautiful. So think about free time. What's one thing you could do if that's an area that you need to improve that would help you do that? What's one thing around your cash flow, your net worth, etc.? Step 2 is dare to dream. And this is the area that so many people struggle with. It's about saying, imagine if money was no object, limiting beliefs weren't holding you back. What does your ultimate version of life look like? I am gobsmacked by how many people genuinely struggle with this. So what I recommend is if I've got some questions there that you can ask yourself, but if you genuinely struggle, hot tip, ask yourself the $100 million question and, really put time into doing this. Pour yourself a cup of tea, get out your favorite journal or notepad or type it straight into a Word document. I like to be paperless because I'm terrible at collecting piles of paper everywhere. And just imagine if you were given $100 million tax-free, what would you do with it? Don't allow the critic in your mind to say, well, that's never going to happen, or I don't have $100 million. Just lean into it and ask yourself, what do you want? What do you want out of life? Really important thing. Once you've created that, you might want to plug it into your 3 plans. Create your big, bold, audacious vision, your life vision, your leadership vision, and your business vision. Step 3 is really powerful. It's about closing the gap and saying, well, if this is where I am in my reality check, my current score is this, and if that's where I'd love to be, what are the things required to get me from my current space to my 10 out of 10, $100 million dream life? And how can I start moving towards there? And the interesting thing is, when you do, you blow yourself away by what you discover is actually possible. We as humans limit ourselves in many, many ways. And one of the things that we don't even realize is we can create a life that is beyond our wildest dreams, but we will never even be able to see it or imagine it if we don't get started in the first place. It's a bit like I often use the steps in Positano. Positano is a beautiful city in Italy, and it's on a hill. So everywhere you go in Positano, you have to walk lots of really steep steps. And the interesting thing is you kind of start at the bottom and you look up and you go, oh my God, there's a lot of steps. And you can't see all the way to the top. And you get to the top and you then go, oh my God, there's a whole other layer that I didn't even know was there. And when you start to close the gap, that becomes your reality, because you get stepping on the path to your dream life and your vision starts to change. You see things very different. So in this, you want to create your commitments. I recommend compelling visions, bold missions, guiding values, clear measures, and goals that are SMARTER. SMARTER stands for specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, not realistic. Sometimes your goals need to be a little bit unrealistic. Often people say realistic there. I like relevant to your vision, relevant to what you want to do. Time bound, and the A, which you don't often see on the SMARTER, it's usually just SMART, is agreed. It's about checking in with the people around you or your overall sense of intuition and ecology. It's about having ecologically sound goals that you agree with and that others in your life that you share it with agree with as well. Close the gap, create your plans. Step 4, be accountable. This is where the rubber meets the road. This is why we built Goals Clubs. It's a place where you can show up once a month and be held accountable to taking those steps to get you closer to your dream life. The Goals Club is the secret sauce that allowed me to go from a score of 25 to completely breaking free. I actually created a Goals Club with 6 of my girlfriends. There were 7 of us in total, and that is how we became the 7 Effect. We did it for nearly 5 years, and over that 5-year period, I completely transformed my life. So the 7 Effect was never a business. It was just a Goals Club with a group of friends, a bit like a book club. What happened though is because in my day job, I spent a lot of time as a leadership trainer and facilitator speaking in front of audiences, speaking on stage. And I naturally started to weave in stories about the Goals Club. And before I knew it, women were coming up to me saying, oh my God, I need to join the club. How do I get in this club? And I went back to the girls and I said, I think there's a business in this. I think we could help people. I think if they could use what we use, they could get out of burnout and break free as well. And so I've put in here some hot tips. If you want to get a Goals Club off the ground yourself, here's some things that I recommend doing. Or plug into us, jump onto our website, the7effect.com, and find out if there's a Goals Club near you, or join the Freedom Revolution, which includes 3 days to get all your plans in place, as well as a 10-month Goals Club to keep you on track. So that's step 4. And step 5 is just simple. Take action. Do the stuff that you said you would do at Goals Club. Get the momentum and the intrinsic motivation building in you. And I want you to know that progress is one of the biggest motivators a human can fire up. When you start moving closer to your goals, step by step, week by week, month by month, and you show up at a Goals Club and you report that progress, a fire in you ignites, and this feeling of progress drives you to progress even more. When you feel stuck, like you're going in circles, like you are burning out, like you are repeating the same mistakes, your sense of progress diminishes and you feel like doing less towards your goals. So I made this video because I wanted you to understand how to make the most out of the Freedom Map. And if you would like my help, I encourage you to get on board the Freedom Revolution. Everything that I've learned over the last 15 years around goal setting, and it's really actually over the last 30 years of building businesses, of lifestyle businesses that set me free, setting goals, changing lives, developing leaders, and all of the cool stuff that I've done in the last 30 years is combined into this incredibly powerful system that if you plug into it and if you do it, not just once, but you show up each year, you take those 3 days out once a year, you show up at the Goals Clubs and you report on your progress, I promise you, you will break free. I hope you'll join us. I hope this video has been helpful. I wanted to just give you some insights into how you can make the most of your Freedom Map. If you have any questions or any comments, please reach out to me. Jump on our website, send us a message, and I'll see you at Freedom Fest, I hope. Thanks for watching.